Yours truly, Tammy B, coming to you with another session of Real Talk with Tammy B and Company, the show where we are recording live so that you beautiful people can engage in our conversation via the YouTube chat. So, if you are watching via another platform and want to actively engage in the conversation, go to YouTube, type at That's a Woman, and join the conversation. Now, before we get started, I first also want to say if you're on YouTube, get active with us, ask questions, drop comments. I read them throughout the broadcast as the panel gives as the space and the opportunity allows. So trust, we would want to hear from you. And also, before we get started, if you're not a part of our community, I want to ask you to subscribe as we are here weekly at 7:30 p.m. with new content, to which I am always extremely grateful for you amazing people being with us this evening, along with my girl, Miss Cola Eda Gray. Hey, Cola.
Hello, everyone, and happy Wednesday to
Hey.
all you ladies on the
Hello.
on the line tonight, and to everybody in YouTube world. I hope everybody is doing fine. I am so excited about our conversation tonight.
Oh my gosh, that makes about five of us because I know I'm super excited. And our man, Mr. Shelley, can't be with us this evening, but he sends his loves and prayers, and hopefully he'll be back with us next week on our men's talk. Now, listen, before I introduce our queens for the evening, I do want to make this disclaimer. Tonight's topic is a very sensitive topic and it's a difficult talk to have, but it is necessary. Therefore, please use discretion if children. Look who popped in. Hey,
Oh
Hello.
wow!
Shelly.
Hey, Shelly, good to see you.
Yes, yes.
Good to see you. Thank you, Shelly. I just said I didn't think you was gonna be with us, and you popped in. So thank you so much. So, but as I was saying, please use discretion if children are present. But October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, and we have some extremely brave women coming forth to share their stories to help us bring awareness to this sensitive subject in hopes of breaking the cycles. So, ladies, I want to say welcome and thank each and every one of you for answering the call. Linda, hey, Dr. Ellie, Dr.
Absolutely.
Elita, hello, Dr.
Yes.
Maya, hello, and Shelly. Shelly, we miss you, Shelly. In fact, somebody put, hey, Shelly in the chat. See?
So what's happening? What's happening?
Okay, so I am going to introduce each one of these phenomenal women who are gracing us with their presence. I'm going to read a little bit about them this evening so that you know these superstars who are among us tonight. So, our first superstar is Linda Jones. Linda, and Linda, I didn't even know this. Linda
What?
is a proud Louisiana native.
I am. Go Saints.
Ah! Oh, you and Cassandra, I know y'all gonna be bumping heads soon. She is. I didn't even know you were a twin.
Yes, Linda and Lionel.
Oh my gosh. I did not know. As long as I've known you 20 plus years, I never knew that. And she is the youngest of five siblings. She is the mother of two college age daughters and holds a master's degree in business with 6 years of service as a police officer. Linda is passionate about being intentional and impactful in her community. She enjoys fitness, which she has a lot of fitness videos on social media. Although I couldn't find your pages, so I think you must have took them down for a minute. But Miss Linda be active on that gym thing. So even if she's not active on social media with it, she is about that fitness. She also enjoys cooking and traveling, a true sports fan, which you just heard, Go Saints. And but wait a minute. Your bio said you proudly support the Buffalo Bills.
No, the Bulls. My daughter goes. My daughter's on scholarship at the University of South Florida for volleyball. Yeah, and go Bulls.
Oh, you know what?
That's where that came from. Yes.
Ah, okay. Well, welcome
Yeah.
again,
Thank you.
Linda.
I'm glad to be here.
Thank
Glad
you.
to be
We
here.
are so glad to have you.
Absolutely.
Now, our next superstar is Dr. Maya Harold, who coincidentally I met through Linda. And actually, I met Shelly through her. So let me give you guys a little bit about her. With over 30 years of experience in the beauty industry, Maya has a significant mark as a stylist and salon owner. Her commitment to excellence has been recognized through multiple awards in customer service and community service. Additionally, her contributions to the Atlanta public school system highlighted her dedication to education and mentorship. Her journey as a survivor of domestic violence adds a layer of resilience and strength to her voice, making her an inspiring figure for many. Beyond her professional endeavors, Maya is a passionate philanthropist, continuously working to make a positive impact on those around her, in which I can
Mhm.
agree to all of this. Her dynamic presence and unwavering commitment to service have left an indelible impression on all who have crossed her path. Recently, and I was a witness there, she has earned her doctorate degree in Christian
Woo-hoo.
leadership and business. She is not defined by the challenges she has faced, but by the grace, resilience, and determination with which she has overcome them. She is also the founder and CEO of Broken but Not Bruised Community Outreach Incorporated, which is a nonprofit organization. Welcome again, Maya.
Yay.
Hello. Hey, Linda.
Hey, girl.
Hey,
Thank
Shirley.
And actually, I did a small domestic violence discussion last year, and actually, Maya, Dr. Maya, and Shelly were my two participants because Shelly also has a story on this matter as well. So, and last but not least, the next superstar we have is Dr. Elita Denson. Dr. Denson is a pioneering educator, recognized as the first African American in Georgia and Atlanta public schools to earn national board certification in early childhood slash generalist. With 38 years of teaching experience, she holds a BA from Clark College and EDS, and a PhD degrees in early childhood education and educational psychology from Georgia State University. Dr. Denson has twice renewed her national board certification and received honors, including the 2008 American Star of Teaching Award in Georgia and the Mary McLeod Bethune Award. Currently, she's teaching at Asa G. Hilliard Elementary School. She is deeply committed to student success and educational excellence. Dr. Denson is also a certified teacher, leader, instructional supervisor, and trained domestic violence advocate and a two-time survivor.
Yes.
She's an Atlanta native. She is the proud mother of three daughters and two grandsons. Dr. Denson is an active member of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated and several honor societies. She was a top 10 finalist for the National Teachers Hall of Fame and was recognized in the National Board Celebration of Black Educators. Her legacy is rooted in passionate teaching and advocacy for domestic violence awareness, striving to empower students and break cycles through education. And I hope it's okay to say this. She was also studied under Iyanla Van Zant, which y'all know that's my unofficial spiritual teacher. So welcome again, Dr. Denson.
It is my pleasure. Yes, my pleasure.
Thank you, thank you so much. Thank you so much. All right, so before we get into the conversation, and y'all, I'm going to be intentional about lighting the mood for a moment because I know this conversation is going to get deep. But first, I just got to ask, Shelly, my man, how are you, my love? What's good with you? Shelly, you on mute if you talking.
I'm looking dead at it. It says mute my face. I'm still talking. But I am great. I'm great. No complaints at all. Just, day by day. That's all.
That's what's up. That's what's up. Cola, what's good with you, my love? Are you with us? I know you
I am with you. Yes, I'm with you. And I'm going to be off screen for a couple of minutes, but I am in and I'm listening. And I just want to back you and thank the ladies for joining us tonight. We have a plethora, sound like a plethora of education, a plethora of experiences. So tonight should be very, very powerful. So, yeah, I just can't, everything is good. I just can't wait to engage in this discussion and see how we can enlighten the people and find out what all we can learn to improve our lives and do better.
Amen. Amen. Okay, so I like to open up each discussion with a question, and I'm going to ask each and every one of you. To the viewers, you are welcome to put your thoughts in the chat. So, the question tonight is, if you could give everyone in the world one book to read, one book, what would it be and why? And so I'm going to go round robin on my screen. So I am going to start with Dr. Maya. Dr. Maya, if you could give the world one book to read, what would it be and why?
My book that I wrote,
Okay.
Married with Single, and the reason why it will help you or assist you in overcoming obstacles throughout your life.
Nice. So you gotta make sure we know the viewers know where to find that book. Is it on Amazon? Is it on your
Not
website?
yet, maybe like in about 3 or 4 days. I have it on Amazon. I just have to
Oh,
upload it.
okay, and it's titled Married but
But
Single.
single. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
girl, I know some people that are married, but and that's not a good place to be. But I get it. Awesome, awesome.
It's a
So, Doctor,
relationship that's single too. So, absolutely.
yes, ma'am.
You
Yes,
said a mouthful there.
Yes, ma'am.
exactly, exactly. Okay, so Dr. Elita, what's one book you would read? You would, if you could give everyone in the world to read, and what would it be and why?
My book that's coming out soon. And it's my favorite teacher, the Dr. Alita Denson story. And it's a journey through my childhood, up through adulthood, just documenting domestic violence and what I saw, what I experienced, what others saw, which led me to this point in my life in just understanding it and how I got this far. So I think it's a good read. It's my
Oh,
story. It's a story of resilience. It's a story of just understanding the impact on children, the impact on adults, how it goes from adults and trickle down to children. So I'm just documenting that at each stage of my life.
oh wow, that already sounds powerful. I cannot wait to read it. And you know what? Speaking of the impact on children, I actually had someone that was going to talk about this from their standpoint as being in the home, but then anxiety kicked in and they backed out, and that's okay. But then I was telling another lady about this talk at the gym, and she said she was the child that witnessed it. And so she said, well, if you ever have a talk, let me know. So if there are any survivor children that witnessed it and you want to have a conversation, reach out to me, because I would definitely create the space for you all to share the story from your vantage point. But Dr. Alita, I know you've been intentional about targeting that and the work that you're doing this month for in honor of domestic violence
Yes,
awareness. So we're going to
that's
talk
right.
more about that. Miss Linda, what book would you
Yes.
recommend and why?
I'm gonna say purpose driven life. A lot of people don't know why they're here and what's their purpose. So it gave me direction and it helped me find my purpose. So and that's so important. Purpose gives you direction in where you want to go in life. So a lot of people don't know what their purpose is. So I would encourage people to read that book, Purpose Driven Life, and find out what your purpose is.
Amen. And the writer of that book is Rick Warren. In fact,
Absolutely.
I read it twice. I read it twice. So
Yes.
very, very powerful book. Very
Mhm.
powerful book. And Shelly, you the book man, you the bookworm. So which one would you recommend?
That's the hard part, thinking of just one. But if I just had to, I think probably 48 Laws of Power. I think that's an excellent read. It's good, help you navigate situations in life. Yeah, yeah.
48 Laws of Power. I forgot who that's by. I've heard of that book. I didn't.
Mm.
I never. I think I might have started reading it, but got distracted.
It's a hard read. It's not an easy read, so but it's very knowledgeable if you pay attention. Yeah.
Okay, so 48 Laws of Power from Shelley. Nobody in the chat have a book that they would recommend and why? The chat is still it's there. Drop it in, guys. That's also if you're in position to type. Miss Cola.
I'm gonna say overall for me, it's one book, and I'm just gonna say the Bible. Um, of course, if we can learn to read it with a mature set of eyes and a discerning spirit. And I say the Bible because it covers how we should treat one another as human beings living on this planet. It covers how we should take care of the planet. It covers even money and how the do's and the don'ts of borrowing. It covers uh, marriage. It covers relationships. It covers children and parents. It covers, I mean, it just covers so many things that we deal with in life. So I am definitely going to say that the Bible, and I'm going to sneak another one in, second to that, Science of Mind.
I wish you wouldn't have snuck that in because that's what I was going to say. I really was going to say Science of Mind. So
You can still say it if that's how you feel.
you just took it. You
No,
just took
then
it.
take it. If it fed you, I mean, it's a feeder. It's a feeder. It is a meat feeder. It feeds.
Yeah.
So that's definitely one. Yeah, we're not trying to be. We're doing what going with what works.
Yeah, no, no, absolutely. And honestly, I was going to say Science of Mind, and I just feel every human on this planet should read or even listen to Science of Mind because it does tie into the Bible. And so,
It covers everything too, just like it covers it all.
exactly.
Excuse
And
me.
it really opens up your understanding and perspective. Dr. Lita,
Hmm.
you shaking your head, so I'm guessing
Yes,
you're familiar.
yes. I
Yeah,
read it about 10 years ago. I still remember. Yes.
yeah,
Yes. I
yeah.
think I
You
think I listened to it. Was it earlier this year? I think it was. Yeah, after this, because this podcast, we've been bringing up some really having some really good conversations, and that came up, and I made it a point. Yeah, but I feel every human should do it, and I like how it definitely ties into the Bible and give you a whole new perspective
in
on.
a non-religious type of way, in an
Yes,
applicable spiritual way, in a non-religious type of way. Yeah.
that part. That part right there. Okay, good stuff here. Okay, so just so you guys know what the little fun fact of the day, because y'all know I like to let you guys know. So today was National Frappe Day, and it's also National Chocolate Covered Pretzel Day. So for that little sweet tooth of yours. And then also, did you know that today is National Inner Beauty Day, which is a day to acknowledge the beauty that comes from within, such as kindness, compassion, and resilience, while also raising awareness and supporting victims of human trafficking. This was founded in 2016, and it encourages people to recognize and celebrate their own unique inner qualities and take action against the grave issue of human trafficking. All right, so before we dive in, again, viewers, if you have questions or comments, please drop them in the chat. I will share them as the opportunity presents themselves. And sometimes there may be a delay before I get the opportunity. So just be patient with us. I get to as many of them as I can. So as we start this talk, I'm going to start with this overview according to AI on domestic violence statistics. Domestic violence affects millions, with statistics showing nearly half of all adults experiencing psychological aggression, with roughly 1 in 3 women and 1 in 4 men experiencing physical abuse by an intimate partner in their lifetime. In the US, approximately 20 people are physically abused every minute, and
Mm.
the domestic violence is the leading cause of injury to women, surpassing other violent crimes like mugging and assault. I am going to also add that I just learned in the last couple of days, down here somewhere, I want to say Noonan, Georgia, or somewhere part of Georgia, a woman just threw hot grease on her boyfriend, or she was trying to throw hot grease on her boyfriend. And I think somebody got in the way and was affected by it. But just the fact that the anger was there. So this is also shows it's not just a man attacking a woman, it can go both ways. And then
Mm.
also, I was told the story of a woman that was just recently shot in the last couple days by her husband. So this is a very, very sensitive situation here, and we are here to bring awareness to it. So what I want to do first is, Linda, I would
Mhm.
like to ask if you would kindly share your story.
Yes. Uh, I'll start from the beginning. My abuse started when I was married. Um, it first started with verbal abuse, the name calling and things of that nature. Kind of overlooked it. That's not really, he's not hitting me, right? So fast forward, we were together for 7 years. Fast forward to about, I guess, 3 years into the relationship. Keep in mind the verbal abuse continued. Didn't really think, you know. Um, but he was in the military. We lived overseas for like 3 years. From there, we went to Fayetteville, North Carolina, where we were having issues. And he made a comment, do you want to, let's kill ourselves together? He wanted to do a murder suicide. I declined. Fast forward, moved to Georgia, and I think it was like the 6th year of the relationship. Keep in mind, verbal abuse the whole time. And at the 6th year, between 6 and 7 years, we decided. Well, I decided I wanted to get a divorce, but we were still cordial. So one night I had actually went out to a club, knew I was going through a divorce. End up meeting some people, got some phone numbers, and by the time I got back to the house, I knew I couldn't go into the house. Keep in mind, we weren't together, but we were still cordial, and we were waiting until his apartment got ready. So he went out to the car. I'm still a little bit tipsy at the time. And he went out to the car. Keep in mind, these numbers were in the trunk of my vehicle. He went out to the car, got the numbers, came back into the house, and he was questioning me. Who is this? Who is this? I don't know. I don't know. Keep in mind, I'm tipsy, so I'm not 100% there. All my faculties not there. So I was like, I don't know these people. I don't know. Keep in mind, we're still getting a divorce. We're not together, right? The divorce is just not final. He's just staying in my apartment until he get his apartment is ready. So um I didn't tell him who they was because I didn't know. Fast forward, at the time he sat on top of me, like literally, I'm laying in the bed trying to go to sleep, and he punched me repeatedly, like this. Because I didn't have all my faculties, I wasn't you don't respond. It's not a normal response, like I'm gonna go get something to hurt you back. And he beat me till my entire face was unrecognizable. I had a broke nose. I was 2 centimeters from being blind and one of my eyes. When he finished,
Mm,
he only stopped because he got tired, like
mm.
just like this, back and forth. He only
Wow.
stopped because he had no more fight, and because I'm a little bit intoxicated or whatever at the time, and this was over this was over 15 years ago. And when I got up and went to the bathroom, I can barely see out of both of my eyes, but I
Mm,
know what had happened to me wasn't right. So I looked in the mirror and I proceeded to cry. And there was so much blood in the bed, so much blood. Um, and after he did it, he said, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hurt you. And I was so out of it. I end up going to sleep. Fast forward, I decided to go to the hospital. I needed to go to the hospital. He came with me. At this time, I'm numb. Like I don't feel nothing. Even though I know he did this to me, it was a lot of people say, well, you should have called the police. But you never know what you'll do until you're actually walking in that shoes. And at that time in my
absolutely.
life, like I was a zombie, like I couldn't feel nothing. But I knew my face needed attention. Got to the doctor's office. He's with me now. And the doctor asked me what happened. Of course, I'm not going to tell him what happened because he's standing right there, right? And I said, I tried to break up my friends from fighting, and they thought that I was trying to fight them, and they attacked me, which I think the doctor knew that wasn't true. Um, yeah, I finally gotten to a point in my life where I can talk and I don't even cry about it anymore. I don't consider myself a victim. I consider myself a victor. And at the time he was actually in the military. I think he's out. I haven't spoken to him. Um, but you never know what you would do. So people always want to give their opinion in regards to domestic violence. But I'm just glad that I lived through it. I'm definitely a different person. Um, than I was then. And it made me a lot stronger. And I'm still here to tell my story. What got me through is my relationship with Christ.
Amen.
At the time I didn't have any children. Um, yeah. Uh, and I'm glad I'm still here to tell my story. But I know the signs and what not to do. I know how to value my time. Yeah, and I'm single, by the way, and I'm happily single. And I'm peaceful. So peace is the most important things. And a lot of times, I'm gonna close with this: women will be with a man for the sake of being with a man, right? And we only have one life to live. It starts with that verbal abuse, and if you're experiencing that, that's a sign. It won't change. It'll only get worse. So that's my story.
Wow.
Hmm.
That and I've heard, and I know your story. I've heard it before, but
Hmm.
it still is like unbelievable, to
Hmm.
be in that position. And just the fact that you were even talking about, it was years of verbal abuse. And what people got to realize, if someone is abusing you verbally, it's only a matter of time before it could potentially, I don't want to
Hmm.
just say every situation, but there's a high probability that it can get physical. So, um, I'm so glad you're still here. I'm glad you
Me
didn't
too.
do
Absolutely.
the
Yeah.
just the proposal of the, both of you ending, your that ending your lives. That was signs of, there is some issues there. So, I commend you. My heart, you know, I love you on
Thank
that.
you.
Thank you for
Love you
sharing
too.
that. And we
Absolutely.
gonna talk more, but I want to go ahead and uh bring the next story to the table. Now, before Dr. Maya and Dr. Alita, Shelly, do you care to share any part of your story, or you just want to be a witness tonight?
I'm just listening right now. I'm just listening.
You're listening tonight. Okay. All right. But can you just at least share that women do hit on men and
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be known. Like I say, like you even stated, 1 in 4 men are abused in the relationships. I think it's almost 39% of domestic arrests are women against men. So men are also victims of domestic, especially verbal, a lot of physical. So um, no one should ever hit anyone, but it's not just a woman thing. And you know, but as a man, hearing women is like, she's. So I don't think men are. Let's focus on the women right
okay, no worries.
now. Mhm.
Thank you. I just wanted to give you your acknowledgement. Dr. Maya, beautiful. Talk to me. Share your story with the people, please.
My story is I did mental, physical, verbal. It went through it all. And I had the marriage that everybody thought was the perfect marriage, whatever that looks like. Um, and for a while, it was good till it wasn't. And when it started, it just, I'll say months and months, it got worse over the years. It went from verbal and mental to physical. My husband did suffer from mental illness. And so when he would have episodes, I was the closest thing to him. So it was taken out on me. And I really didn't share with a lot of people because everybody kind of looked up to him or the person that he was in the community. So I really didn't share. And I also didn't share because sometimes you share, you just want people to listen or kind of
Hmm.
help you out versus them telling you, well, it wouldn't be, I wouldn't let them do this, that, and the other. And you really don't know until you're faced with that situation because I've been that person. So I understand. And when a person blacks out is pretty much nothing that you can do about it, Well, I can't anyway because I'm not as strong as a man. So I couldn't defend myself in that manner. And it's it was different. It was a learning experience. I'll say that. It was a learning experience. It's not who I am today. It's just a part of my life that I went through. And I learned. And now I understand. So that's why I like helping and talking to others that go through that situation. Because I have a different perspective of it now.
Amen. Amen.
Mm.
Thank you for that. I appreciate that. Dr. Denson, Dr. Denson, Dr. Denson. I'm just going ahead and be honest. Your story is a story I'm really waiting on. I'm waiting on all of them, but yours threw a whole nother spin on this conversation tonight. So, Queen, please share your story.
Well, I have a two-time story. I'm a survivor twice. Once in high school, I was in the 11th grade, and I was dating the captain of the football team. I was on the pep squad. And at first, it started out okay. It was all right. It was enough for me to continue dating him. But one day, he became very possessive of me. So one day I was getting ready to go out with friends, and he was going back and forth in the living room, and my mother heard him. So she was calling me to come to the back so that she could tell me, go out with your friends. But he pushed me so hard in the hallway that I bypassed her room. I went past her room. But when I told her that he pushed me, she told him, don't do it again, which really set me up for failure in that relationship. So go on, fast forward. He ended up one day, as I was trying to walk in the house, he hit me from behind. My jaw, nose, all of that was broken. And my parents made him go to the hospital with us, which was weird, but she said she wanted him to see what he did. So we went to the hospital. My jaw was wired for the next 6 months, and I was homeschooled. So I went back. We ended up going to court, and my parents said they didn't want to ruin his life. So they just said he needed to go away for college and just stay away from me. But of course, that didn't happen but 1 year, because he ended up at Clark after that. And I saw him homecoming about 3 years ago. But it didn't devastate me anymore. It just made me think about the children, because we were children then. And what did he see as I have grown now? What did he see as a child that made him want to hurt someone that you claim that you liked and loved in high school as his first high school sweetheart? Fast forward, I got married in 1993. It was a struggle in that relationship just to get on the same page. We had arguments, verbal abuse, but I didn't have any fear of him. So if he said something to me, I would say something back. It was that kind of struggle. But we were two professionals. We would dress up every day. He was an assistant principal. I was the first African American national board teacher. We were at the height of our career. We owned a barber shop, a beauty shop, a restaurant, in addition to us being educators. We were young, and we were somewhat like a power couple. When I decided, with all of his antics and going on, that he was not going to be faithful to me, I made a choice to divorce him. We separated, and just one night in 2004, he came and decided that he wanted to unload his gun in me. So I was shot 6 times. I live with 4 bullets today in my body, because they couldn't dig for them the next vital organs. So actually, when I processed it, he actually tried to kill me, just wipe me, just erase my history altogether. When I laid in the hospital bed and the police came, because I was in there for a while, and then I had to go back again, and then I had several reconstructive surgeries, and then I went back several more for them to try to dig the bullets out, and that's when they told me they could not. They were deep under the tissue. I was laying in the hospital bed when the policeman came and said, when you're good, when you get up and you heal, here's my card, and we will assign you an advocate. And I immediately said, I'm not a victim of domestic violence. I don't know why you're giving me the card. In the first place, I didn't make the connection in high school. I didn't make the connection when I was married. I just couldn't put a finger on what it was, but I certainly said I wasn't a victim, because we were two professionals. We didn't go around fighting each other. It wasn't a honeymoon moment, and then we would come back and he would give the gifts and all that. It was just a struggle verbally, and for us in that marriage to get on the same page. And with his choices, I made a choice to leave the marriage, and it happened then. And I realized that you really can't tell a person you're getting ready to leave them, because detrimental things happen when you say you're getting ready to leave them. If you're going to leave, just make a plan, make a safety plan to do that. The second thing I realized is I went into that marriage saying, if you ever cheat on me or you do drugs, I will leave you. I will not stand in marriage. So up front, I created my boundaries and I went against my own boundaries. When I found out what he was doing, I accepted him back, which made it worse, which made it worse for him going out, doing what he was doing, when I should have adhered to what I said and left him way sooner than the 10 years that I stayed married to him. So that's my story. I'm a two-time survivor, and I'm just grateful to be here to tell the story, because that wasn't supposed to be how it ended. And I had 3 daughters, and I remember running because he shot me in the basement, but I remember running upstairs. And my whole thought process was to go to the neighbor's house and let them know who shot me. That's all I wanted to do. So I ran to the neighbor's house and I said my name and his name, and I was shot because I'm divorcing him. And I took off to the next neighbor's house because I didn't want them to investigate if I died right there. And then they wonder who would do something like that. And then he sit up at my funeral with my girls. So I was running, also praying to God, saying, you're not going to take me like this. If you take me because I live my purpose. But don't take me over nothing like this, because I have 3 daughters that's going to need me. And that was my inspiration to live my 3 daughters, who was 4, 9, and 16 at the time. And I knew that I wanted to be here to raise them and talk them through it, because what was going to happen with 2 parents gone and then them finding me and knowing what happened. So I wanted to be here so that they could get the help that they needed, and still can today. They are 26, 30, they'll get mad if I don't remember, and 37. And still to this day, if they need to go and get help on that or whatever, I support that wholeheartedly. But they are the reason that I'm here. Now I have 2 grandsons, and my whole focus is, no, break that cycle where these boys really know how to treat little girls know how to treat them. And we could just change this whole cycle of abuse with a whole different generation coming up. And that's it. That's what happened.
Amen. So if I may, like, did he body shots? Were they all in body shots that he fired?
All body shots. All. I have a bullet that's next to my heart, my aorta. So it's the aorta bone bullet. I have a bullet that's next to my spine, sits right next to my spine. I have a bullet in my back. The only one they could remove, Grady Hospital, shout out to Grady and Trauma Center. The only one they could remove was the one in my stomach. And they had to get to that one fast because that was the one that was causing the most blood. I had 30 minutes before I would bleed out altogether. So when I was in the ambulance, I could hear them counting down, 39 minutes, 29 minutes, because I was aware of what was going on. I had just ran to the neighbor's house. But I heard them counting down. I had to ask my mother, why were they counting? And she said, you had a golden hour before you bled out. So you were at 20 minutes. So stomach, kidney, my kidney is in a mish because that one bullet tore it apart. So they had to piece it back together. My leg, and then one exited. Did I say that right? Through the back of through the back of my leg. So 6 all together. They were one exited and one they could remove, which leaves me with 4.
Did he shoot you and leave? What? How? I
No, he shot me and went upstairs to get more bullets. Yes, yes, he did.
So there was no back door, so you were able to slip out the.
Well, what happened, I was downstairs, and when he did the shooting, I saw a glove and I saw the gun under the blanket. So when he shot the first time, I kind of moved up because we had a phone on the nightstand. You know how you have house phones. We had a phone on the nightstand, so I moved up to try to get to the phone, and he came around the bed and ripped the phone out of the wall and went back to the end of the bed and just continued shooting. Well, he went upstairs and other things happened, but I think that my daughter should be allowed to tell their own story.
Right.
So other things took place, but I heard him coming back down the steps. And, Spirit just said, put your body up against the door so he couldn't come in. But then another thing happened, and it said he's going to shoot through the door. So I let the door go, and as he stumbled in, I ran out. And that's when I ran upstairs, and I ran to the neighbor's house. And my 16-year-old was running behind me to the neighbor's house. So when we got to the second house, they told me, Dr. Denson, stop running. We hit an ambulance and everything, stop running. And because I was taken off to the third, just to let them know. And I told them I wouldn't leave until I saw my daughters, the other two, that was 4 and 9. The 16-year-old was with me. So I said I would not leave until I saw them and made sure that they were all right. And the father said, I'll just go and get them, the father in that house. And he said, no, all 3 of them are outside. And so when I went outside, I was trying to lift the covers to cover up the blood because I was bleeding everywhere, to lift up the blood. And I just told them to get my daughters to my parents' house. I knew that if my mother and father had them, they would be all right. And then I laid back and just went. So, yes, they were close contact bullets in my body.
So did they, and I'm assuming they took him into custody that night, right?
Not that night. He was on the run for a minute. So when I was at Grady, I was under an alias name. And they put me in another section of the hospital because he was still on the loose. So my name was Tyler Wilson in the hospital. So every time the nurses and everything talked to me, they had to call that name. And when I woke up, there were undercover cops in scrubs in the hospital because there was so many doctors and things. I just wondered why all these nurses and things were in scrubs. So my mother told me they were undercover police officers, and they were there to guard the door because they had not caught him yet. But when they did, he was sentenced to 39 years, first 22 years. And then he kept doing stuff. He kept sending letters from the court. He kept trying to get an appeal. He did a lot of stuff that went through the advocate and the DA. So when we went back, he was reindicted for 39 years, and he passed in 2011 while he was in prison.
Thank you for sharing that story. I'm trying to get my composure. Like, I am speechless. That is, I mean, your angels, and they were with you, and I'm so glad.
Ancestors, yes,
Yes,
Absolutely.
Were right there.
Yes, thank
Right
God.
there. They got me up out of that house. My children were not going to find me dead.
That's right.
Their life would have been nothing then.
Yes.
So no. And that's the reason I focus on this year, the impact on children. Now, because I had a full circle moment. Mine were children then. So I'm watching their life now, and I'm watching them have children. And I'm always looking at those boys, visualizing what their life should be like in relationships. How do they, and I have the pleasure of teaching my 6-year-old. I'm his first grade teacher because I don't feel like it's another teacher better than me. So I finally get to teach him, and I watch him at school, and I have a lot of talks with the first grade on, how do you treat girls? How do boys treat girls, and how do girls treat boys? Because it's nothing worse than a teacher that would tell a student Oh, they're just messing with you because they like you. Oh, they're just messing with you. No, they
Yes.
don't like you. If
Yes.
they liked you, they
Yes.
would be doing something nice for you. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
trying to break that cycle as well because these are educators. And you're speaking to children and it sets them up for failure. Just like
Yes.
my mother told that 11th grader, um, don't do it again. It set me up for failure in
Yes.
relationships because it made me think that love is supposed to hurt and it should not.
Yes.
That's powerful. And as a matter of fact, when you were telling your story about, your when the parents somewhat made unofficially an excuse for what he did when he pushed you. And then I was thinking about Maya's story. Maya didn't go into detail about her story, but Maya, I think when you did finally open up about your situation, people made excuses for him. Oh, y'all living good, you driving a nice car, and this, that, and the other. There's no way he's doing you like this. Yes, I don't
His
want to
father
misspeak.
said that, yes, and knew he suffered with mental illness. He suffered with it all his life. They knew it, but he made excuses. He did.
And that becomes a hurting point. That's a reason why a lot of people, and anybody jump in and correct me if I'm wrong, they don't want to talk about it because people will try to make it seem like it's not as bad as it is.
Well,
Or
people
they'll
on
try
the
to make
out,
it seem like it's
yeah,
you. You're the
yeah,
reason.
they're on the outside looking in. I know we were two professionals and we were well respected in our community, especially because we were so young doing so much. Like in the school system, and like I said, we had a barbershop, beauty shop. He was a master barber. We had a lot going on for us. Where if you fast forward to now, we probably would have been a high pillar of society, I would say. But we dressed up every day. We went to work. We were dressed to the nine, going to work. And people did. They saw the cars. They saw the house. They saw what we were doing. But they don't know what's going on behind closed doors. And like I said, it wasn't a lot of fighting and all of that. It wasn't the hidden that took place, but very emotional, very verbal, um, very I wouldn't say intellectual because we went to work every day and did it well. I was a national board certified teacher. So I could do my job in my sleep, but very emotional, emotionally draining it was. And I was just exhausted and made a different choice because of the choices he made. And yeah, people behind closed doors, they don't know what you're really going through because they're not behind the closed door with you. So when you step out, you're not really talking about it either. You're just going about your day until something really stops you in your path. And like my shooting, and you really have to look at it and say, oh, wait a minute. This was because, like I said, I never considered myself a victim of abuse. I said I don't consider myself a victim now. I consider survivor. I have never called myself
Yes.
a victim.
Yes. Yes.
I will
Yes.
say survivor and I will
Yeah.
say advocate for
Yeah.
others, but never a victim.
Yeah. So, Dr. Denson, can I ask you, and maybe I missed this, but were there any signs prior to the shooting? Was he physically abusive before then? If so,
Abs-
how long?
Absolutely not.
No, he never laid a hand on you.
If you ask me to this day, that shooting came as a surprise to me. I never thought he would do that. We had businesses, so he had two or three guns. So we always had that, one in the house, one in the car.
Right.
We always had that. No, we didn't fight physically. Verbally, we would go back and forth with each other. Emotionally, yes, it was draining to me because he decided that he wanted to have outside relationships, and I remember that was my boundary. That was a no.
Right.
So I eventually got to the point after 10 years that I adhered to my boundary. We were separated. He didn't live with us anymore. We were separated and it was peaceful. He would come, pick up the children. We made arrangements for the children. All of that was going on. When the emotional abuse and all of that finally stopped, it was normal, no more arguments between us. It was definitely no more fighting. My daughter said that on the stand in court. It was none of that anymore. he was gone where he was gone, and I was where I was. And just one morning, he knew that I woke up at 4 o'clock. I would wake up, I would study, get ready for work around 5. I would make breakfast for the girls. In November, it happened November 22nd. We were always, the girls were always write out their Christmas list. And we would go downstairs and split the list and have their toys by Thanksgiving. He said, I wanted to come over so that I could, it's about 5 in the morning. I want to go ahead and split the list. That list was on the counter. I wouldn't have thought any of that. I walked downstairs. He didn't know. What he didn't know was that I woke up the 16-year-old and I told her, go ahead and get up because I'm going to be downstairs. And I told her what I was doing downstairs. Normally, they will all wake up around 5:30. But it was 5. So I woke her up early and she was able to hear the shots. And it went from there. No, if I didn't get out of there, the goal was for them to wake up at 5:30 and find me dead in the basement.
Right.
But
Question. So how long had y'all been separated, and for how many months or
about
years
six,
did y'all have this peaceful flow going on?
about 6 months when I decided that we were getting a divorce, that I wanted a divorce. And I actually made a deal with him. I said, listen, I don't want to take you for all of your money. Make me an offer to take care of these girls. I'm national board. I get money for opening my mouth. So just make me an offer. I tried to make it as peaceful as possible. So maybe 6 months, but I didn't say this part. He also drove, after he shot me, drove across town to shoot his mistress as well. Yes.
Question.
But she lived. She was shot in the hand. She went on home that day. But it's just the fact that you had that in your mind to do. Now, me, it was meant for me to not
die.
I'm supposed to be gone, erased.
Right.
Yes.
Dr. Denson, was he on drugs?
I can't say that because I never had proof of that. So I wouldn't say yes. Over the course of our 10 years, I have never witnessed him on drugs, do drugs. If anything, it was when he was gone, if that happened. But I have never witnessed that. No.
Did you ever get a threat? Has he ever threatened you?
What do you mean
That
by
he may threaten, like,
absolutely, like
I'm gonna unalive you or what? Yes.
No,
Has he ever threatened to kill you?
no, never.
So I'm just trying to wrap my mind around this for myself and for the viewers. There was never any physical abuse.
No, he never
You
said, I want to kill you. I'm going to threaten, I'm going to beat you. We never said that to each other. Now, I wouldn't say that at a time when we were mad that that we didn't swing one time, but I could count those on my hand.
Right.
I could count those on my hand. No.
The morning of or the night before, were y'all arguing, or it was just peaceful, kumbaya, and just out the blue he did this?
Nothing. I woke up at 4 o'clock, went downstairs as usual, studied my teaching material. I started cooking at 5. We'll wake up the girls at 5:30. He came in and just said, I want to split the list for Christmas. And I told a 16-year-old I was going downstairs to do it. And she heard the shots and came downstairs. And when she came downstairs, I was still trying to cover up the blood or whatever. And I couldn't really talk. So I just told her, call 911. But no, to this day, I would say I never expected that to happen.
Okay.
Divorce, yes. Talking to each other, maybe a little crazy, yes, because we were divorcing. Arguing, yes. Shooting, no.
Did you ever think, and maybe I guess I'm asking this in a different way, did you ever think that he could ever be capable of taking anyone's life,
No.
let alone yours?
No.
You never even saw that capability in him?
No. If he was going to take somebody's life, it would be in self-defense or being robbed in one of the shops or the restaurant, something like that, or defending himself. Something like that, because we didn't run in those crowds like that. We were professionals.
Right.
Went out every day, had doctorates, working on a doctorate. He was. had everything that we needed. So no, but I did realize when I was laying there and they said I was a victim, and I kind of had to study it. And my line sisters and I went to become real true advocates under the Georgia Coalition Against Domestic Violence, because I really had to study it for a while
Right.
and to realize in my own mind what domestic violence was, because it wasn't the normal cycle that you see,
Right.
like this honeymoon moment, and then you come back,
Right.
another fight, and then honeymoon, and I'm accepting you back. No, he just decided to have other relationships, and I decided that I wasn't putting up with that at all. And that's why I'm sure, I don't know what was going on in his head at the time, but it made me tell people, be careful about telling people when you want to leave, because you really don't know
Yes.
what's in that
Yes.
rage that's going on with them.
And
I'm
this
sorry.
is what I'm getting at. This is exactly what I'm getting at. This came out of nowhere. This
And
came
out of nowhere, but obviously, as I look back, he had some silent rage in him about what the
yes.
decision was. I
I was
wasn't
waiting
privy
for
to that because he didn't live with me
That's
anymore.
right.
So
That's
I don't
right.
know if he went across town to where he was, and she broke up with him, and he just decided that he had blown up his life on this side where he was living, and he was mad about doing that and disappointed at himself. And this rage was boiling in him that like I said, was not privy to at all. When he came in and talked about that list, he didn't say anything when we were downstairs. As a matter of fact, it was a bedroom downstairs, a pool table area, and a little den where you could sit down. I was walking to the den area with their list that they had, because I was truly thinking we were splitting a list. When I went downstairs, he said, "Your phone is in here." That was the bedroom. My cell phone was in the kitchen. I didn't remember that. So he took the phone just so I couldn't call. But I started laughing because I said, that daughter of mine, and I'm trying not to say her name right now because she can tell her own story. But when she was 16, I said, that girl, I have my phone downstairs talking through the night. You know how you take the phone from the children, you go to sleep? I thought she had just snuck my phone downstairs. So when I went in there to get it, he pushed me first. And I said, "Oh, that's going to get you up out of here." That's what was my exact words. And then he took the phone and threw it against the wall, pushed me down on the bed. I saw that gun and that glove, and he started shooting.
My goodness.
So had he ever been like, "You ain't never leaving me. We ain't getting
No, no,
So it was
absolutely
just
not.
out the blue.
It was out the blue.
That's crazy.
That's why I'm telling people, abuse is not always that cycle.
Exactly.
And a lot of professional women, and I said I had to study it. A lot of professional women, they would stay there just to save face. But I did have a mother, after realizing what happened in high school, that said, you don't have to save face for anybody. If you need to come out of that marriage, you come out of it. And remember, I said, we're divorcing, but I'm not taking you from your children. Make me an offer as to what. So I wasn't even trying to destroy his life.
No, you weren't.
I
You
was
were
not.
trying to be as amicable as possible.
I was. I was. Yes, I
Wow.
was.
I do have to interject. You said November 22nd, and actually my cousin put it in the chat. Because if nobody saw my reaction when she said November 22nd, I jerked because that's my birthday. So
Well, those are my favorite numbers because that's my life day. He didn't take it. So everything is 11/22 for me, because he wasn't successful in erasing my history. God had other plans. So
yes,
You better speak that.
that's
11/22 is a very powerful day anyway,
it
because
is.
there are three master numbers associated with that day.
11, 22, and 33. Don't
Come
play.
on, girl, you better say it. You better say it. Yes.
Yes.
Yes, that is a powerful
Those
day
God's
of the
numbers.
year.
God's
Yes.
number. You couldn't take me on that day. No.
I love it. I love it. I love it. You know what? And Linda, you popped in my head in this story too. So in your situation as well, there was the verbal abuse, but there was never any physical altercations.
Correct.
Wow. And you got, and so as it has been stated, like, action plan has to be made if anybody is in this situation. And the sad part is, one of the concerns that I have with the state of the world right now, especially with this government shutdown, this furlough, people, being home, it's almost like another form of COVID, when people was forced to be in houses with people they in relationship with, but
Yes.
don't really like each other.
Yes.
So that is a concern that I have right now with this furlough, and the silent rage, because everything that you said is super alarming, right? You know, you were in a relationship, you were married, yeah, you had some words along the way, but um you guys started the process of ending the marriage, and then one day, just randomly, when you supposed to be talking about setting up Christmas gifts for your children, whatever snapped in him, snapped to the point that he was okay with your kids waking up and coming downstairs and seeing you deceased. That is
And not just okay with it, he
yes,
wanted it. He
Right.
wanted it.
And I don't believe people snap. You just make a choice. It's a
Yeah.
choice.
that's
You
true.
never snap. You make
That's
a
true.
choice.
That's
Choice. Yeah, he was okay. He was okay with
Yeah.
that. And then you had to be thinking that you would be taken away. So you were thinking about, you didn't care about that either. It was just a bad choice. I'm not gonna say he did not care about um his children. I'm gonna say that he didn't care about his children. Do you get what I'm trying to
Yes.
say?
Yeah. Because
So
can you
did
imagine
he?
the
I wouldn't.
trauma impact that would have to come
Yes,
downstairs
yes, he
and
did not
see your
understand the impact.
mother like that? That is a lifelong trauma.
Yeah.
In fact, I know
Yeah.
a guy, his mother passed in his arms on Christmas Day. So can you imagine the lifelong trauma? And a lot of people don't want to make the effort to heal from that. So
Yeah. And that's why I said that if I was gonna die running, that they would remember me trying to get them some help. They would not come in and see, they would remember that no, she was running trying to get us some help. She didn't just lay there. She did not just lay, and by the grace of God, I just didn't lay there. My adrenaline, God in me, it just wouldn't allow that to happen for me. And when you talked about the pandemic, that's what made me think about the children, because the abusers were trapped in the house with the victims. And eventually the abuse turns to the children, eventually. So I had a lot of students traumatized, and a lot of students that told me their stories about their parents and their fighting and their arguments and how they didn't eat and what was going on. And that made me really take note of my children being young, bringing it on up to when I was in high school, that abuse, and bringing it to my students now.
Dr. Denson, I have a question. Did he have a relationship with his mother? Is the first question. And the second question is, even though you guys were married before the abuse started, was he withdrawn from you? Lack of attention. Did he seem like he wanted to spend time in his man cave?
Oh
Did he?
no. No,
No.
first of all, he had a very good relationship with his mother,
Mm.
my children's grandmother, and they still see her to this day. I did not hold anything against them for what he did. So yes, he had a very good relationship with his mother. Took care, was one of the caretakers that would do a lot for him. In our marriage, no, he sent me to school to work on my doctorate. Now he was he was selfish with the things that he would do. Like he was a worker. He was I wouldn't call him a workaholic, but he was very into his business and all of that. And I was really into what I was doing education wise. I will say, when he started changing to go back to school and do things, it was a little bit, especially when I became national board, it was a little bit of jealousy there, a little bit of competition. Like if you're going to school, I'm going to school. If you're doing this, I'm doing this. It was more of that when we actually chose different paths to go. Yours was the business, mine was education, but it started coming over into my lane, and it just seemed like more of a competition in the end when I didn't know we were competing, if that makes sense. Okay.
No.
You
No,
said
that
a
makes
mouthful. I believe that it was overkill. When a person exudes overkill, it's hatred inside. He was intentional. And let me just say that to you guys. I'm sorry about what happened to all of you. Um, I felt that pain too. So it's easier for me to be empathetic. But your husband, from your story, it just seems like he probably didn't like you deep down inside. Everything
Mm-hmm.
that you did, he wanted it.
Mm-hmm.
He
For a
wanted the
minute
life
too.
that you have, and he couldn't compete with that. So the only way he couldn't compete with that, and to even living without you satisfied him. Does that make sense? Living without you
Yes.
satisfied him, and deep down inside, in my opinion, I think that he didn't like you. You were superior over him, and he was supposed to lead and the man of and be the man of the house, but he looked at because you were so successful. He couldn't compete with that. And the anointing of the Holy Spirit and the Holy Ghost kept you here. And by the favor and the grace of God, kept you here. You have an anointing over your life that's so powerful. You
Absolutely.
keep doing what you're doing. You
Oh,
are
thank you.
walking in your purpose.
Purpose. That's what all
You're
throughout
so
this
walking in
whole.
your purpose.
Yes. And you know what? That's what I keep feeling throughout our entire talk. I mean, no one wants to live through a tragedy like this, but you now have not that you didn't before, but this added to your purpose.
Yes.
And then with
Thank
you being
you.
in the place of a teacher, able to sow seed in children, boys and girls at age 5 and 6 and 7, this
Yes.
seed that you're planting is gonna be there as they grow up.
Oh,
So
I receive it.
you're able to get to them before the world can get to them and before other outsiders can get to them. You've already planted your seed by way of your experience.
That's right. That's right. Oh, I
Yes.
received that. Thank you. Thank you.
This is so divine. This is what you're doing is so divine. And all the ladies on here, it's just this experience that you guys have survived is definitely divine purpose for you guys to sow seed in the planet and in people to to help people become survivors, those who feel like they're victims to become survivors and to see others with the information to be able to prevent situations like this from occurring in their life.
Mhm.
Amen. Somebody just
Right.
dropped in the chat, and
Amen.
I could not agree more. They like, you're supposed to go international. Like this
Me?
story needs to be
Oh
told.
God. I receive it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
look, I'm be
you.
your agent.
Yes.
But no,
Look at
but no.
God. Look
And
at
you know
God.
what? To that to the comment about the competition is interesting because I want to say it was earlier this year at some point. There was a lady that did a whole little Instagram or it could have been TikTok, but I think I saw it on Instagram. But she was saying the person that she was with was competing with her. And we're not supposed to be in relationship
No.
with someone that we're competing with. We're supposed to be in relationship. We're supposed to build and hold each other up.
Right.
So
Right.
when we find ourselves in these type of, in that situation, and the sad part is it's almost like you don't know, but
You
then when
don't
those
know.
signs start showing up, like I had somebody not too long ago tell me like they, with their husband, they was planning on getting a Mercedes or whatever. And then next thing you know, all of a sudden they, the husband talked them out of getting it. Then next thing you know, he pull up with this nice Mercedes AMG or whatever. It's like I'm trying to understand this being jealous of your mate when we're supposed to be supportive of our mate. If that,
Right.
So to
if
me, that comes with insecurities sometimes.
and
Absolutely.
that's
Absolutely.
another thing
Yeah.
that
So
needs
when
to
a
be
person is
addressed.
insecure and both of you can be doing well, it's like they want to outshine you because they see people giving you compliments. They see you getting up doing what you're supposed to do for yourself. And they don't like that. Their attention is on you. So instead of them, they create their attention. And it's
Right.
like, mhm.
And it's just chaotic. Like our marriage was chaotic.
Mm.
Um, but we were
From the
perfect.
beginning.
I would say it took, yeah, I would say it took us a minute to get on the same page if we ever did. I agree with two things you all said. It was competition and it was silent rage because it
Hmm.
wasn't like I feared him or he feared me because it wasn't that type of relationship, but it was chaotic. The arguments, the back and forth, the we just can't seem to get on the same page, the outside voices. It was just too much noise, if that makes sense to you. Too much noise and just needed to end way before it did.
Before it's, yeah. And I wanted
Yes.
to ask you, and I want to get back to that alignment with you and your husband. Also, you and Dr. Harold, I want to talk about you and your alignment with your husband, and all the ladies on here about the alignment from the beginning. Do you think that this was your ordained husband? Was it in a, I don't know what your belief system is, but I want to know if it was in alignment with spirit or God, however you guys call it, if you whatever you call it. If
Well,
you
God is
think,
God. That's one.
okay, I mean, but different people have this, so I don't want to offend anybody. I'm just so I want to ask that question, but before I do, Dr. Denson, can you, when you said that he shot you, and when the bullet hit your stomach, I think you said you close the door or lean up against the door, and spirit led you to do A, B, C, and D. Could
Spirit
you
led me.
describe what those moments
Yes.
were and how that interaction with spirit was? How it just came about and how you were guided?
No, okay, so one day I came home sick and I was watching TV. And I never watched the news. I never watched the news. But this time the news was on. And I think I was folding the clothes or something. And do you all remember a story where the Cobb County doctor killed his wife? And then his two children found them in the basement and he sat there at the funeral. You may not. It was in 2004 as well. And I remember sitting on that sofa saying, what kind of life would those children have? If anything happens to me, my daughters will not find me. I remember saying that. So when
Mm.
I remember that like it was yesterday. So when I was in the basement, when I went down there, spirit just led me first because I got up. I was shot 6 times. So I never was supposed to get up. And each bullet was supposed to go into that vital organ. So when you shot towards the heart, it was supposed to go in the heart. When it shot in the back, it was supposed to go in the back. So when I go to the doctor, even today, and they're looking at the bullets, they will always say, as one person, they will always say, you're not supposed to be walking. You're
I'm
not
telling
supposed
you.
to be
I
walking.
thought about that when you said the spine.
Yes.
Yes.
But it's like
Yes.
all of them stopped right there, right there. And they didn't go any further than that. But to answer your question, when we first, I was watching the news and I said they wouldn't. So when I was shot, that's the first thing that came to my mind. They're not going to find me in this basement. They're not. If they find me, they'll find me falling out there trying to get them some help, but they will not find me. And that really came to my mind when I heard them coming back down the steps. Spirit really led me to push my body against that door, but at the same time, Spirit led me to move. And I didn't know he was going to stumble in, but it allowed me to run out. So it was all orchestrated in that way. When I was running, I don't know. I said that prayer to God, and I said, "You're not gonna take me like this. My daughters are gonna need me." And He led me here today. But the point about the marriage, in the beginning when we got married, I thought that was my person. I did.
Um,
I thought it was, But then I realized when he had all these outside relationships around 2001, when I should have left then, I realized that our integrity and our character was very different. And I also thought he had more character with the other person than me because I started growing in a whole different direction. And I knew that I was on a journey studying under Yanla, Dr. Barbara, Asa Hilliard. I was on a whole different journey, came back from Africa, just did different things. And I remember one day he was doing something emotionally draining because I would cry all the time. And I remember him saying, tell your God to get you out of it. You talk to your God about that. And I remember telling him directly, oh, you don't want to mess with my God. Because I traveled all the way to Africa to find out about my God. So if you bother me or these children, you will self-destruct. So my mother said when I woke up in the hospital the first time, because they give you the pump for the morphine, and they woke me up, she said she always covered up the TV or turned off the TV, but one day the maid came or the cleaner of the hospital room and turned it on for her cleaning. And I happened to see him trying to get a bond. And I just said, oh, he self-destructed and went on back and pumped my pump because that was in my mind. He has self-destructed. He has
Mm.
taken his own life and you have not taken mine. That was my
Mm. Hmm. So okay, so you a studier of the African spiritual system?
I'm an active spiritual person altogether. I went through Iyanla's personal
Right.
development program. I studied under that. I'm a Hillside member for 30 years under Dr. Barbara King. So I'm very spiritual. What I say manifest. How I think is what's going to come to being. So yes, when I said I was going to live, I never thought I was going to die.
So
No.
okay, so do you believe that in within your belief system, do you believe that you should be aligned or equally yoked with a partner, and do you seek that before engaging in a relationship or marriage?
Now,
Did you
definitely
then?
now.
And okay,
But
that
no,
so
because my spiritual journey was doing the process, being
okay,
with him.
but
So I might have thought that, but I didn't think of that then.
got
Like I
it, got
wasn't
it.
thinking equally yoked and all of that. I was thinking we work good together. We plan things together. You know, you working on this, I'm working on this. We were successful as a couple. So I really wasn't thinking about the equally yoked thing until around 2001 when I grew in a different direction, a different
I
spiritual
understand. Okay,
direction, and he was still here.
okay.
So, and that's why I wasn't mad when it was time when I offered the deal for the children or even said I was getting a divorce because I really thought that at that time we became not equally
Got
yoked.
it.
That's when it came to my mind. Yes.
Thank you. And Linda, do you believe too that you guys were equally yoked? And do you believe in that in your belief system? That you should be equally yoked or spiritually aligned prior to marriage?
Yes, of course, my spirituality has grown from when I married him, but I guess I married for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
And I'll just be transparent. I married him because I didn't like the life I was living. I wanted a better life.
Okay.
So with that comes a sacrifice. And I know
Yeah.
sometimes with women, we always talking about that's my type. So I encourage people who are listening, like your type will always get you in trouble. And there's something everybody wants your type, right? He was tall, he was dark, he was handsome, he
Mhm.
was fit, he was educated. Um, he knew the streets, but he was educated so he can turn it on and turn it off. So I would just encourage women, don't go for your type because your type is everybody else's type. And unfortunately, my sacrifice, it cost me to go through that for the 7 years. So I sacrificed my mental, emotional, and
Mm,
physical because I married for the wrong reasons. Does that make sense? So but
It does,
you're
and
gonna
thank
get
you for
cost
the
for that. Yeah, it's a
thank you
cost for
for
that.
such thank you for such bold honesty. Because you know, a lot of people, especially in 2025, thanks to fake book, fake the gram, and all the other fake social media sites, everybody just always want to put on a face.
Hmm.
They want to put on a face, you know. So thank you for such bold honesty.
Absolutely. Hmm.
Now, can I say
Um,
one more thing? Because I'd be remiss if I didn't say it. The 16-year-old was I. This was my second marriage, so I do want to talk
hmm
about the first one. We were young, we were college sweethearts, and there was no abuse. We ended up being best friends, so I never would have thought that would happen. Once again, I went against my
Wow,
boundary.
wow,
And I adhered to my boundary this time. I said, if you cheat or do drugs, I'm leaving. And I left with the no drugs, just another relationship. So I
right.
left. I adhered to my boundary. And I think as I compare the two, he had so much respect for me leaving that we were able to co-parent very well that 16-year-old without those kind of disputes and all of that. She thought we were best friends until we finally, I told her we finally did have some things that happen, but nothing like that. But he was my
Right.
best friend. So I wouldn't have never thought coming from that marriage to the second one when I was more mature and all of that, that would take place. That's another reason it caught me off guard.
Let me tell you, this is the second book, and it should be titled Blindsided. Blindsided. Because you have two stories that started off the same, like it just came from out of nowhere.
Out of nowhere.
You know,
11th grade, then the third one, first marriage didn't. So it went from high school, skipped the first marriage to the second marriage. And how did we get here? And I
that is
always
something
relate
else.
back to that high school one initially. Yes.
That
Now,
is
So,
something else.
so
Okay, can I ask Dr. Linda the same question and then I'm done
you mean Dr.
with
Maya?
that? I'm sorry, Dr. Harold.
Yeah.
Yes.
Maya is fine. Go ahead, Dr. Maya.
Okay. So I wanted to ask you the same thing. If you felt like from the beginning that your relationship was that you guys were equally yoked, or if you were in alignment with your first marriage or situation with the abuser.
I wouldn't say that we were equally yoked. No, I wouldn't say.
Okay.
Were we in alignment with one another? Yes. We had a plan. We set goals. We made them. Um, we were alike in a lot of ways. In a lot of ways, we were different with one another. Could I have seen what happened to me in the end from the beginning? Nah, not to that degree. I wouldn't. We did come from different backgrounds, um, but to me, it wasn't an issue for me. Like our plans and goals were the same. We did everything that a couple would do to achieve what they wanted, and it was no problem. And when
Well,
it
do
gets,
you think you guys were aligned spiritually, or maybe, or were you not even in that space at that time?
I'll say this. In the beginning, I may have possibly felt like we were.
hmm Yeah.
Our I'll say our first date was church. And we did spiritually, he was on that path. Let me rephrase. He was a PK's kid. Um, he wanted to make a change in his life. So it was
hmm
in the beginning it was going like really good, like no problems, you know. And that shift changed and it came with doing drugs. That's what it was. So medication
Okay.
and
Oh, now that's gonna shift anything.
uh, absolutely.
Yeah.
So once I started learning what it was, what the issue was, because he sat down and told me what it was.
hmm
He didn't want to take the medication for mental illness. He
Mm.
didn't like the way it felt when he was young. Someone introduced him to cocaine when he was young, and that's how he managed it.
Oh
Um,
wow.
and so he didn't do it for a long time because he said he got a high just from achieving goals that he set for himself. So it
Mhm.
gave him that high that he was looking for. And then when things started to happen, and the more successful you become, the more problems you get, and the more people start begging. And so with all of that happening, it just his mental just it went out the door. So he would
What
begin
was his?
to
I'm
have
sorry.
episodes. Yeah, and when he began to have those episodes, once he told me that this is how I calm myself down. And so I started to see the rage, like even before he did the drugs, it's like his whole demeanor would change. He would get
Hmm.
angry, he would get aggressive, he would get fidgety. And so I would see, okay, it's about to happen, and sometimes he would just leave, or sometimes he is like when he would try to fight to stay, not to go and do the drugs, he would get physically abusive until he just couldn't take it anymore. And then he would leave.
Mm. So what was his diagnosis? So you said he was taking medication as a child.
To
What
be
was his
Yes,
diagnosis?
so he was diagnosed with mental illness when he was a kid.
What type?
I'm not
Bipolar
for sure.
or
I'm not for sure. I know it was bipolar, but it was something else, and I'm not for sure of the other one. But yeah.
okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And he tried to self-medicate with drugs as he got older.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Okay. Okay.
Because he
All
said the
right.
drugs that they were giving when he was little, it would have him too spaced out.
Yeah, it's a downer. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Hmm.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Wow. So, oh, and Dr. Denson, it was I'm sorry, Cassandra, who said you need to go internationally. So I wanted to acknowledge that it was in the chat for a while. But so let me ask, has any of you have you all done any type of therapy?
I did. I only did therapy after he was murdered. And yeah, that's the only time I did therapy. I didn't do it in the midst of, well, let me rephrase that. We went to marriage counseling a couple of times.
Mm-hmm.
We did do that, but just therapy alone, I did it after he was murdered.
Okay, so real quick, so you hadn't mentioned that he was murdered. So it were you going through a divorce, or was him deceasing the reason that the marriage really officially came to the end? Were y'all separated? What did that look like?
It did. So when I left, I stayed in my situation in hopes that my marriage would get better. I was always a runner in a relationship, so I said, okay, I'm gonna try to work through this as much as I can. When it got to a point where I couldn't handle it anymore, I just used to pray to God, like, this cannot be my life. Like,
Mm.
what am I gonna do? And when he said leave, that's what I did, and I moved to Texas. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I filed for a divorce, and I used to come to Atlanta once a week. He would never. I did that for 2 years straight. He would never sign the paperwork, and finally he said, "I don't know why you doing this. Like, I'm gonna get myself together and I'm getting my family back. Like, we're not getting no divorce." And he would not sign the papers. So when he got murdered, we were still married.
Mm.
And so back then, it was the system in place where you could publicly like advertise to get divorced. Did it didn't work that way? Was it because of your
So it
access or
did. This
something?
was the thing. So they asked, do you communicate with your husband? Do you know where he's living? One, I knew where he stayed.
Yeah, you said that.
Two, he called every day, all day. So I couldn't say I didn't have no contact with him because
Yeah,
he called. Yeah.
gotcha.
So
That's
that
fair.
that didn't work for me. Yeah, that
That's
was my
fair.
first one to file it in the paper. But
Okay.
yeah.
So, Linda, did you ever get any type of therapy?
I did. Um, I did. It was kind of like off on, off on. But what really got me through it is just prayer and my support system. It's just as simple as that, prayer and my support system.
And
That's
Mhm.
I did briefly, but it was more important that my children were in therapy before me.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
immediately put them in counseling. And mine, not so much. Mine was more spiritually, me studying what was going on, what I really do feel now. If I had to take a class, it would be like a trauma class just
Mm-hmm.
so I can understand it even more. now, and because I'm in a different space now, and as I look back on it, I really recognize what should be healed in me, and so it would be that type of counseling. But it was more important that my daughters were in counseling kind of over me. I was still healing physically, while I
Let
knew
me
they
ask
had to
you,
heal emotionally.
I want to ask you ladies a question. So for me, gaining my peace back was big for me because I've
Mhm.
always been at my own peace. I was always in a good space with that until I went through that. And I felt like nothing was at peace. So once I moved to Texas, I gained my peace back. And in gaining my peace back, I started to understand that I had triggers. And my triggers was somebody hollering at me, um, trying to create an argument for nothing. Those are still today triggers for me that send me somewhere else that I don't like to be. So do you have triggers or things that happen to you that would trigger you back to that moment?
I do. My trigger is disrespect. I
Mhm.
Because I felt like I was disrespected in those relationships. So if I feel like I'm being disrespected or anything even close to it, then that's my trigger. That sends me back, and it sends me into my own self-talking, rage, anger, whatever it is, that it does not to physically harm anybody, or
Right.
like that, but it just sends me to a different space of
Mhm.
not being peaceful.
Mhm.
Because I'm like you, I protect my peace.
At
Now,
all
my
costs.
mental health is everything to me.
Mhm.
My light shining and me helping other people, that's everything to me. So
Same.
when I'm not peaceful, I know that the people around me are not peaceful, and I don't like being in that space. But mine is just disrespect.
Mhm.
Amen.
I think men
Linda.
and women have triggers. I think life is about a deck of cards. We all gonna get a different hand at some point. Like spades, you don't have a good hand. But it's all about how you cope with it. I think men and women have trauma, and moving forward is just a matter of meshing with someone that you both can unpack trauma together. I think we as women, we're more emotional, and we wear our emotions on our sleeves. I mean, we're nurturers, and we can carry a whole living person in our bodies. So I think everybody living on this earth, especially around our genre, has some type of triggers and some type of trauma based on life experiences.
Mhm.
So, and it's all about coping mechanism, praying, being around people that love you, who can pour into you. Negative energy is transferable. So you have to guard your peace. You have to guard what you say out of your mouth, what you listen to, because it all can affect you in a positive or negative way.
Mhm.
Yeah, and you know what, even to your point, that's why I don't like when people like I match energy. I tell you what, I'm not
Mhm.
matching energy because if your energy is negative, low vibration or something like that, I am not
Mhm.
playing in that energy. Like when I tell you like I am very intentional and conscious about the choices and the things that I say, I'm even more and more now like I find myself correcting things that I say if I feel I said it incorrectly. I'm
Me
like, no,
too.
hold on, because I want to make sure I'm intentional about the words that I put in the
Mhm.
universe, because when they say life and death are in the power of the tongue, this is true. So we even have to be mindful. But so
That's beautiful, Tammy. I'll be glad when I can get to that point where I can say, we matching energy today. A lot of times I can do it and I do know how to walk away, but I can't say every situation. Some of them I'm going to match or exceed your energy. I am. I'm
Dr.
that's true.
Harold.
That's
sorry.
Dr.
I
true.
Harold, come on.
have to say that,
Let
but
me say
I'm
something.
being honest. Yeah.
No,
Come
that's
on, Dr. Harold. Come
Yeah.
on, Dr. Harold.
Never let a person take you back from a place you leveled up from.
Mm-hmm.
all right.
So if
Mm,
they
that's a
controlling
good
you,
one.
if you're going back to a place that you leveled up from, Mm-mm.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to remove yourself and walk
Mm-hmm.
away. It's
I
called
agree. I
what?
just
I
ain't got
have
there.
at least
Yeah.
gotten to the point now. I have at least gotten to the point where I recognize my words. And I'm one that will apologize now. Where I
Yeah.
used, it was a time where I wouldn't. I mean, my word was my word. But now I can recognize, my daughters help me with that a lot because they're grown now. So they helped me a lot in realizing my words and how I would say things and my tone and my delivery. So now I'm big on apologizing if I said it wrong because I don't want to offend them. So I'm very cautious when I'm speaking outside of them, making sure that my delivery and tone is a certain way where it's not offensive, and
Now
I'm
I
not
agree
offending
with that.
anybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
I
I'm
like
I'm good with that. I've never had a problem with apologizing if I offend.
That's emotional
Yes.
intelligence.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yes.
Well,
I never had a
I'm there.
problem with that. Yeah.
Yeah. And you know what? So Cola used the word emotional intelligence, and that I just used that word with somebody earlier today because I was just saying, even, like in some situations, we weren't raised with emotional intelligence. We
Right.
weren't raised to talk about how we feel and express ourselves and things like that. So I feel those are also factors that are in a lot of the abusers, because they could have rage, they could have trauma, and if these things are not dealt with, that's how they show up. They'll think, or they could have grown up seeing their fathers hit on women or things like that. So these are things that we have to start calling them out to bring it into them,
And you
so
have to start with the children to do that. You have to start with the young children to do that because we weren't raised like that. So, but every bully sees a bully.
yes.
You know, we in school we call them bullies and we kind of push them to the side. But if you ask them, what did you see? What do you see at home? They will tell you. They will tell you, well, my mother did this and my father did this, and that's why you can catch them early because they see it. So if you start with the children and start changing them, then you'll see a whole generation. Because I promise you, that the guy that did it in high school, or the ones that are abusing young, or the ones that are bullying, they see that
They
in
seeing
their
it.
house. They see someone, they witness that, and then they experience that because um, domestic abuse turns into child abuse after a while. They're
And
gonna turn it around on the children after a while.
And you know what? To the point of what you're just saying. In fact, I'm listening. Actually, I've been listening to this for a while. I put it down and picked it back up. Mel Robbins' book, "Take Control of Your Life." In one of the sessions, the lady was talking about how abusive her husband was mentally throughout their whole 18-year marriage. And one time he called her the C word, and her boys was not too far away from her, and she tried to run and tell them, like, it's never okay for you to call a woman that and this, that, and the other. And then the husband come behind, if she's acting like it is. So it's like
Mhm.
that behavior, what she said, transference of energy. We have to break these cycles. We have to
Right.
not get, tell these kids it's not okay. And
It's not.
even to the adults, because even still, even as we're trying to help the children along the way, the adults need to understand, if you're having these problems, if you having these feelings, get help. Far too long our community wasn't given permission to talk to therapists. We was not told it was for Black people. But the truth of the matter, therapy is for everybody. We need to have the conversations. We need to get help. Our mental health is so important in the continuance of our journey of life, if we're going to be productive and make right choices. Because earlier when I said the snap, you guys said the choices, and this is about choices. Before, let me ask this question, because this is in the chat. Are any of you able to feel if a person is abusive when initially meeting them?
Mm-mm.
Yes, yes,
Mm.
yes, yes. Now, yes. And because the representative was will show up at first, and then your trueness will come out after a while. Yes, I think I am 60 years old. Yes, at 60, yes, I am supposed to recognize it by now. But yes, I can by what they say, by through their actions. And yes, it's just yes for me. I can see it a mile away. Don't even bring it to me. Yes,
I'll
yes,
say
I
when
can.
I initially first meet a person, I would say not all the time will I be able to say, oh, they are an abuser. I wouldn't say that. I think I would have to be around them enough to just see their character, see their mannerisms and how they move and how they speak. If I can express myself to you and you tell me no, that's not how you feel, I, to me that would sound an
Yes,
alarm.
that's what I'm saying. They'll show certain examples
Right.
early. I think I'm more aware
Hmm.
now of
But
what
you,
to look for, of what I'm looking for.
Hold on, ladies. Let me say this. Linda have to go. Linda, first of all, my love, thank you so much for
You're
doing this.
yes,
Are
welcome.
thank
there
you, thank you, thank
any
you.
final
You're
words
welcome.
that you want to leave with the people tonight?
In life, be impactful, be intentional, um, move with grace. Move with grace when you deal with people. Pray for patience before you leave your house. The patience to endure and have the mental fortitude to walk away. Have the mental fortitude to have patience and hold your tongue. Because as Tammy said, there is life and death in the power of the tongue. So show others grace as if you would want them to show you grace. So it was my pleasure. Thank you guys.
Nice
All
meeting
right.
you.
Good night. Nice meeting you guys too.
And even in the walk away, I want to add to that, make a plan. Don't verbally announce you're going to walk away. Be
Right.
strategic about it. Because as we're hearing
Mhm.
from these stories, that could have some very devastating results. So if
Mhm.
anyone is in that position, be strategic. Don't announce it. Oh, I'm leaving. No, just, do it. Some things, there's an expression, killers move in silence. So, not saying you're a killer, but what I'm saying is strategically plan your exit strategy.
Let me ask this important question because I know you're trying to close in about 12 minutes.
Mhm.
For Dr. Harold and Dr. Denson, do you believe if I don't know if your fathers are in your lives, but if your fathers were more present in your relationship, if your husbands knew that you had a present father who would stand up for you, who would speak up for you, do you think things would have turned out different?
Mhm.
So
And
for
did you have that father
I
who
did.
stood up for you, who spoke up for you, who was like, this my daughter,
Oh no.
she's covered.
so I had a present father and family.
Okay.
What I didn't do was involve my family in my relationship
Okay.
with that person. I didn't. I've even had an episode where I was on the phone talking to my aunt, and she heard Chris in the background talking reckless. She called my dad, and he came over. I didn't go to the door. Um, and that particular day, it wasn't anything physical. It was just talking, but I didn't involve my family in my relationship.
Do you think if you had allowed your father to be involved, that he would have looked at your father and said to himself, I gotta hold the brakes on this. I can't go, I can't do that to her because she got people or she has a dad.
Truthfully, I can't answer that question. I can give an assumption. Uh,
Okay.
with mental illness,
Yeah.
I don't think
But
it would have made a difference. He's had people to say things to him, but on the flip side, it was like they didn't see the part that I went through. For the most part, they only saw the good guy. And when he
yeah.
did act out, they seen the reason why he did it with other people. It wasn't just him flipping the script. So
And
I,
also,
I,
let me add too, when bringing families involved, that get tricky because there have been many cases when family get involved, but then the woman stay or the male stay with the abuser.
It's
mhm.
So
true.
that
But
that
what but not okay, so a dad, just a dad being it, not a dad in somebody in his daughter's life in a threatening way, but
Mhm.
the fact of the dad just being present
I
and
understand.
yeah.
knowing that, and the male spouse or female spouse knowing that now her daddy loves her, and I know it might be some consequences for me if I was to engage, if I was to cross that boundary with her. Like I'm just wanting to know if you guys believe if the presence of a loving dad would have made a difference. And if that would have made a difference in the spot in your situation.
So my biological father was living when we were little. Both of them are deceased now, my biological
Uh-huh.
and both. But my biological father, he spent a lot of time with us. And then my mother remarried with
Mm-hmm.
my bonus father. He was amazing, an
Mm-hmm.
amazing father, very involved. Um, just did everything as if I was his daughter. You would
Mm-hmm.
never have known. People used to say we look alike. We
Mm-hmm.
looked alike because that's how involved he was. But he was very non-confrontational. Like when my incident happened, he was more into my care and my getting well than going out to handle the guys or whatever. He was he wasn't that type of father. He was caring as far as what he needed to do for me and my girls at the time. So his focus was not on him as far as he just wanted justice for me, if that makes sense. I went to court both times and they just wanted justice for me. Now, did I think that he stood up for me? I mean, I never thought about that because he was so caring towards me. I've never thought, that's never come to my mind that he wasn't, or that he could have done something else. Because what he did was so loving at the time that I just would never think about that. They took him to court in high school. They took him to court and when the shooting happened, he was there. They voiced their opinion, was on the stand. So I just never looked at it like that. Like he could have done something else. That has never come to mind even to this day.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
yeah.
Shelly was getting
I
ready
think,
to say something. Shelly, what were
yeah,
you gonna
Shelley.
say?
Mhm.
um, I was gonna say I think it depends. It's a case by case situation. It depends on the man and the mentality of the man. Because I have a lot of girls, so daughters, so they have some boyfriends that be like, no, she got a dad, so just because they're respectable men, and then they have a lot of boyfriends that think they just as tough and we got
Right,
to do something too.
right.
And on the other side, there's things that have happened where I have friends that are like Dr. Gibson said, that they just more on the caring, nurturing side, and I got friends that's like, we got to do something about this. So it just depends on the adult and the child. But what I was gonna ask is, do you women feel that there's a difference between a reaction and an abusive man? Like no, I've only heard I hear very few women talk about what they did to add fuel to the fire. It's always the man was abusive and they're just the innocent victim. Like, some it's never okay to hit no woman, but a lot of things are reactions.
This didn't sound Dr. Denson's story. Neither one of these stories well, Maya,
No,
yours was ongoing, but Dr. Denson, I'm not seeing that to be a reaction.
no, I was gonna say that, but I just wanted to keep it out. Dr. Dixon was
Yeah.
definitely out of the blue, non-reaction to it. But a lot of other stories, what I did and what I got caught doing, and other
Well, I
people.
will always say that it goes both ways. That's why I said with the children, it's how the boy treats the girl and the girl treats the boy. It's
Yeah,
never one one-sided. You know, some are, but we have to look at both sides. You have abusive women, you have abusive men, but it's still not a reaction. I still think people make choices in
I
what they decide
agree.
to do. I mean, it's a choice.
It's a
So
choice.
it's a
Cause
choice on everybody's end. It's a choice to respond. It's a choice
Right.
for a woman to respond negatively or say something that might hurt a man's ego or something. Everything's a choice.
So then that gives
It's
him
a
the right
choice
to
to
he
react,
destroys his ego
but to
for him to
respond is very
physically get
different.
her.
Hold on, wait a minute. Dr. Denson, it was you and Shelley. Could you respond? And then Dr. Hero, you respond.
I
Yeah.
said a reaction is a choice, but a response is very, very different than a reaction. A reaction is just something you do quick because it's something you did to me. But a response, you take time to think about, oh, you did this, so let me think about what's the best way for me to handle this. So, and then my story was so out of the blue, even the breaking of the jaw, that I couldn't have put anything with that because it wasn't like I was arguing with you. We wasn't
Hmm.
together. The other one in high school, there was no argument. I said I was going in the house. That's where I was going, and you hit me from behind. So I think it's a case by case, but a reaction is always a choice. It just is. I mean, how you react to something, once your emotions get into it with you and you put emotion and your words behind it, your behavior is going to come right behind that. So I
But
think a response,
no, go ahead.
a
I'll
res-
let you finish.
yeah, a response, you're thinking about what you're going to say and what you're going to do. A reaction is just off the cuff. A shooting, it was nothing for him to react to. Him breaking my jaw, that was nothing for you to react to. That was a choice that you decided to make to harm me for whatever reason you made that choice.
Agreed.
and
Okay,
Dr.
Dr.
Hero,
Hero, you wanted to. Yeah.
we're
Doctor,
gonna bring it to a
Dr. Harold.
close.
I'm good.
You sure?
I feel the
What?
same.
Well, listen, let me tell y'all, this conversation could go on. So I might have to have a part two on this because this was I never even really dug into the questions that I had to ask you ladies. But the content, I already received a text message from somebody like many were blessed by this conversation. So I just gotta say thank y'all. I can't thank you all enough. And so I want to give you all an opportunity. I'm gonna go round robin. Um, Cola, any final words for the people with this based on the conversation that we had tonight?
Well, what's on my heart to say, and I hope no one takes this as me pointing fingers because or placing blame or fault or anything of that nature because that is definitely not my intention. Um, I just want to say, and this is something that I have learned over the last couple of years, is that for me, I have learned to seek spiritual guidance when it comes to partners. Did I always do that in my life? No. And there were consequences too. And so, because I have lived to be my age, you get to see the things that the mistakes that you made, the big decisions in your life that you made, maybe that you should not have made prematurely, and they have consequences to them. Being with people for the wrong reasons, or even just not even paying attention to being equally yoked or in alignment with your partner or even friend. I grew up with my mother saying that all the time that you need to be equally yoked. But when you're young, they're going one ear and out the other. And you don't even understand what's equally yoked. What does that mean? What are you talking about? And I learned from that too in a harsh way many different times. But just this time in my life and for the last couple of years, I've learned the importance of being equally yoked with a potential partner and being spiritually aligned. And not just going by he cute, he got money, all these other superficial things. Um, but so what I would like to say is entertain the idea of being spiritually. and equally yoked with a potential partner, and praying on it. Even, I mean, if it's just a boyfriend or, a guy that you're dating, pray on that. Is this the one that I should be even engaged, giving my time to? Is this the one who I should be giving my time to? Period. And I think when we do that, we can prevent a lot of things from happening, and we can avoid a lot of traumas and a lot of dramas, and we can avoid a lot of hard lessons when we do that. So we weren't, Tammy said she didn't grow up with that type of information. Well, I was one of the ones who did grow up with it, but I still didn't follow that direction. So now that we are learning more in this age and era, we're learning more and we're applying what we're learning. I think that this is something that we should start, probably start paying more attention to. And that's being in alignment with a potential partner, boyfriend, girlfriend, whatever the case. Yeah, being in alignment and equally yoked spiritually. That's what I have to say.
Nice, nice. Shelly, any final words for the people?
Uh, I would just say, just be selective in your breeding. That's all.
You say
Be
selective
selective.
in your breeding.
Yeah, not breeding as a term, but in your mate, be selective. Don't be so quick to jump in it, because you never know. Like we don't take the time to know people anymore. It's instant everything. Everybody wants it now.
Oh, I listen.
You gotta
I,
take the time.
I believe in the vetting process, and just like Cole said, over the years I have learned. So
Yeah.
I'm so good on that. And so, anything else that you have to say,
No
sir?
man. No man.
All right. And of course, let people know how they can contact you. We may have some new viewers tonight.
Shelly.solutions is on the screen on Instagram. Check me out for all your real estate needs, etc., or anything. I'm there.
All right.
All right.
All
But I'm gonna
right.
leave on that note, okay? So I'm
Okay.
saying
Thank you for
peace. Good
being
night.
with us. Men's
See
talk
you later.
next
Good
week.
night.
Yeah,
So be
men's
ready.
talk. Nice meeting you, Dr. Denton.
Nice
Dr.
meeting you.
Dr. Harold. Good hearing from you. Town. Cola. Everybody. Have a good night and all that good stuff people say.
Good night,
Good
Shelly.
night.
See you next week.
Yes,
So,
yes.
Dr. Maya, a couple things that I got for you. I need final words, your contact information, so people can, support, especially your Bruised but Not Broken Foundation, which is a domestic violence foundation that you've started. Um, and question for you: in spite of the abuse have that you've gone through, with you being single, would you marry again in spite of that?
Absolutely. I did not leave my marriage bitter, angry, or upset. We actually were still friends to the day that he died. He apologized, my abuser apologized and acknowledged what he took from me,
Mm,
which was
mm,
all I wanted before I even moved to Texas. So he acknowledged his wrongdoing, not only to me, but the two people that I sought out to help him get some help. Um, he spoke to them about it. So I was fine with that. I would love to be in another marriage. It's some things I have to work on with me. Um, yes, absolutely. And learning my triggers. I've since then I kind of geared towards putting people in friend zones more so than being in a relationship. Um, and I got to learn how to know the difference again. So at 53, I've learned to give people grace. Um, it, I pray that I never say, "Oh, I'll never do that," or "That'll never be me," because I did that over 20 years ago, and I ended up in that situation.
mm,
I do my best not to judge people or criticize them or give my opinion about what they went through to say that they should have done it a different way, because I've been there. And I understand, and we're not always looking for your opinion. Sometimes they just want to release. You know,
Mhm.
get a hug, give me some information that can help me. You know, so I'm just in a space now where I give people grace, whether it's is the person that took the abuse or the person that gave the abuse. Hurt people. You know, and it's not to say that it's okay that they did what they did, but why did they do what they did for me? I Yeah, I'm ready for a relationship now. As I work on myself, I'm ready. I enjoyed the conversation. I do think you need to have a part two
I
because
think
it's a lot. I sat back and listened,
Yeah.
so it is a lot. Um, just with people in general, stop telling people that's going through anything, whether it's domestic violence, problems with their job, to be quick to say, girl, that wouldn't be me. I do X, Y, and Z. Because you don't know where that person is in life. You don't know if they're at that breaking point where this that one
Mm.
person that they came to and that they trusted your ear for them to listen, and you break them down, and it's like you make them feel worse than they did when they called, because none of us are that good or that well educated that just in life every decision we make is better than the next person. Not so. So just be a little more kind to people, you know, move with kindness and grace.
amen. And how can they contact you?
They
Your
can
team.
contact me at bruisebnb.org, or they can reach out to me on Instagram at bruisebnb. My Facebook is Maya Harrell. Thanks.
Nice. Thank you so much, Queen. I appreciate you. And Dr. Denson, are you single now,
I
ma'am?
am single.
So, I gotta ask you the same question I just asked Maya. Would you? Because this question, I guess, get asked a
Yes,
little
I
bit of
would. I would. I didn't let even what happened to me. I did not leave bitter. I would.
No,
Amen.
I
that's
I would.
Amen.
I would. I would like a partner that
Amen.
I could travel with, that I could do things when we retire. Yes, I would. I would.
I love it.
Amen.
I'm
Amen.
just careful in picking the person now.
That's
I
it.
That's
have
right.
in,
That's
That's
it. That's
I have
it. Yeah.
insight now.
That's
And so,
it.
yes, definitely. And I love what Dr. Meyer said, because the last part of what she's saying is what I've been really working on. You know, I don't know people breaking points. So my advice may not be good right then, but I consider myself a lifelong learner. So I'm always
Mhm.
trying to be my best self and improve on me, so
Mm-hmm.
that when I find my partner, I will manifest the type of partner that I want, because of the work I'm doing for
Mm-hmm.
myself. So I want them to have the same light that I have. And
Mhm.
I am all for people shining their light and living intentionally and doing God's purpose for their life and moving ahead into their destiny. And that's what I'm about, not stealing my joy. Don't let anybody steal your joy, and keep your peace of mind. If I have peace of mind, I give up everything for
Okay.
peace of mind. I said that in my
Yes,
last marriage. You can have it all for my peace of mind. So
mm-hmm.
that's where I am with that.
Amen.
Okay.
I have
Amen.
one more thing, Tammy, that
Go
I want
for
to
it.
say. So, and it comes back, it's piggybacking on, I did a 2-day conference last week, and it was with a lot of ministers. And so I posed a question to them as to, and I'll say I did grow up in the church. I did. And I've never, even in ministry, I've been an intercessor of the church I was a part of. We never spoke on domestic violence.
Mm.
So
That's right.
sitting in the
Never,
room with a
never.
lot of pastors and bishops and apostles and all these titles, my question was, why is it never spoken? Domestic violence never spoken of in the church if it's a place for healing.
Mm.
I can guarantee you, one out of every 5 people that you count, somebody is going through something at home, but
Mhm.
it's so hush hush, and the room got silent.
Mm.
Wow.
Yeah. So, on your part two of this,
Okay.
That's good.
I want that to be a conversation. I've never, and not to say that it's never happened. I've been to a lot of churches and been involved in church a whole lot until this point in my life. I'm kind of, I won't say I'm done with, well, yes, I will. I'm done with church people. I'll say that. I don't mind if it
I
offends
know what you mean. We know what
Yeah,
you
I
mean.
know
We know what
exactly
you
what you
mean.
mean.
but
We know what you mean. Yeah.
But can
yeah,
I
but
say one
churches,
thing in defense
mhm,
of churches? Just one.
go ahead.
We I have a pastor. Her name is
Mhm,
Mary Nelson. She
mhm,
started a church at my school, and then
mhm.
she started Grace International. And that was the first minister, the first pastor that told me to come and tell my story. She provided the safe space for
Mhm.
me to come and tell my story. And it's going on 6 years. And every month in October, she would invite me back to the church and we do a ritual. We do the
Mhm.
survival and victims ceremony. And she will always have someone there to speak. So I agree with you, not
Mhm.
many, but she has started to talk, and I will give her credit for that. I would be remiss if I didn't say that.
Well, you know what? And I'm gonna just say this and keep it quick, because I know it's time for us to go. But Dr. Harold, I think when it comes to church, it's just like a hamster wheel. It's the same old thing. And I think people like you can't be, I understand what you're saying, but you can't be done with the church because people like you are the ones that's going to open up that space for a
Mhm.
new thought, for new ways to become educated in
Cola,
the church.
That's
Yes.
But you know
Miss
what? Even
Cola.
Cola, hold on. Let me see. You go. You
Let
girl.
me
Y'all
say
gonna
it
keep this
before I
conversation.
forget it, Tammy.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, Maya.
Cola, Maya done with church. Let me say that. I'm not done with God. I'm a firm believer in God. I'm done with church people that they are so churchly to their no earthly good, everything. And as soon as
mhm.
they leave the church, they're
Yes,
so
yes,
let me refer. Okay,
yes,
religious people.
yes,
That part.
That's what that's it.
yes. That's the
That's what you're
problem.
That's it.
Yes,
saying. Yeah,
That's it.
that's
That's
what you're saying.
because
And
church is
yes.
just
exactly.
the four walls. The four
Yes.
those are the
Yes.
people. Not
Yes.
I'm done with religious people because they're so religious
Yes.
because they've taken God out of it. To
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
that's what I mean.
I'm wait. We're there, and you know.
Yeah.
So when I said I know what you're talking about, you don't mean all people that go to church. You
Right.
mean the religious people. So when I said
Right.
I hear you, I
Mm-hmm.
know exactly what you were saying. But
Mm-hmm.
with your story, I
Mm-hmm.
still think that you listen. We got to make change because the church is not a bad place. It's just
It's
again, it's that same old traditional thing,
it's the
and
people.
it takes people with a new understanding, new enlightenment to bring that to the church to open up the mindset.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
Cola,
last,
So
I
that's all I'm
when you
saying.
ended,
Right.
that was one of the things that you said, like open. People minds need to be open. And a lot of people
Yeah,
that are confined to
yeah,
religion, their
Mm-hmm.
minds
yeah.
are not open. And that's the problem.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Listen, let me say this because I see we could keep going on and on. Somebody sent me a text, Dr. Maya, and this was for you. Um, and of course, Dr. Denson, very good conversation. They love you. I think Dr. Maya is attributing her abuser's issues to mental illness, but all abusers are not mentally ill. They
Mm-hmm.
mostly apologize and are generally manipulative. The same is
yes,
true of those addicted to drugs. She is brave for telling her story. And they also added something to follow up. You made an excellent point about the issues not being talked about in church. It is so needed. So
Yeah.
I just
And
wanted
they're
to.
yes,
absolutely right. I
yes.
So
It is.
mm-hmm.
and I'm gonna say this, and this is it for me. Thank you, ladies. You are listen. It takes a brave person to come out and talk about those sacred traumas and abuses in their lives. So thank you for being courageous. Thank you for removing the mask, and thank you for being bold with your story because your story and the fact that you are willing to share it is gonna bless and help so many other women who are still in the closet So thank you for your boldness. You women are strong. So, and I know I don't have to reaffirm you, but you're walking in your strength right now. You're doing it. You're
Oh,
walking in your strength, you're walking in your boldness, and you're walking in your courage. And I see you, and I thank you. I thank you for it. Thank you for showing the world and not removing the mask and not being afraid. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes,
All
thank
right. Well,
you. Thank you
well,
for having me. Thank you.
oh, you are, listen, Cola said everything that I would have thought about saying. So I'm just gonna
great
go ahead
closing, Cola.
and so listen, we will I will work on the calendar to bring you ladies back for a part two. And especially, and I wrote it down so I don't forget that the churches and not talking about it amongst
Yes.
other things, because this conversation could go on. So I do can't thank you enough, piggybacking off of everything that Cola said, and then some. Thank you for trusting us, me, with this, and thank you so much. Your time was invaluable. The information was priceless, and I am so grateful for you. Ladies, we will get together, do a brunch or something real soon. Those of us, Cola, maybe you may be able to slide down here to Atlanta when we do that. But listen, I'm going to end this conversation. We have gone over everybody who stayed with us. I appreciate you guys. I'm so grateful for you. Just so for those who don't know, my services are, y'all know, I have been saying that I'm a life coach, but when I was in Jamaica, God really told me that I'm going to be a more of a spiritual mentor. So that is my when I in my meditation, that's what God is calling me to. So I'm more of a spiritual mentor and transformational speaker. So you can find out more about me at www.thassawoman.com. So listen, with much love and gratitude, I thank you all for being with us this evening. I thank you so much to, again, these brave women who joined us and shared their story, and be on the lookout for part two. And again, if you're not part of our community, I invite you to subscribe to receive future notifications, as we are here weekly at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Also, support us, give us a thumbs up, drop us a comment, let us know the value add this conversation brought to you. And I know you know someone who can benefit from this. So please share it with others. Also, next Wednesday is the third Wednesday of the month. So be on the lookout for our monthly men's only discussion. That's where we have the opportunity to hear from the hearts and minds of the men. Also, we know the storm is on the going to hit the East Coast tentatively. So everybody out there, be safe, be careful, protect you and your loved ones. And I am going to leave you with this quote: "You are braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think." In light, my words to go with this, in light of tonight's talk, please know your value and your worth. And if you or anyone that you know are currently facing domestic violence, know that it doesn't stop until you take action. Strength and power are in your favor. As you heard, even Dr. Denson say that strength and power was with her to get up those stairs or move out the way and get to the neighbor to share the story. Strength and power are in your favor. So therefore, the encouragement is to get help and or help others get help. There are resources out there that are available. Bruised but not broken is available. And also know this: you are God's masterpiece. When He made you, He said that you were good and you were precious to Him, which means He only desires the best for you and He wants you to stay safe at all costs. So, listen, stay amazing. Peace, love, and blessings. Good night to you all.